love to just like slide from that fountain. As long as I don't land on rocks, that would be scary. Unless I'm a roach, then I'm sure I would survive.
That waterfall looks like the pool at the Quantic House.
Yes, pretty much. Pretty much. Morrow is of course a Swedish Zerg spawning on the left top side of this map, while Arthur is our Korean Protoss spawning on the right bottom side of Ohana. Ben, last game he opened crazy. Yes, he did scout the hedge first from Morrow, but still, Nexus first is a little bit ballsy. Not that ballsy on Daybreak, since Daybreak is a large map, but still, a lot of Protoss players still prefer to get Forge out, even when it's a very late Forge, a 1670 Forge, and then the Nexus, rather than the other way around. But he waited, and then even went for the Gateway. I can't imagine Morrow going hedge on Ohana as well, since Ohana is, of course, pretty much the king of 2-base all-in Protoss maps.
Man, that's a really good point. Mortal pushes like the one we saw on Whirlwind, very strong on Ohana, just because of how, well, I guess the relative distance between the natural and the third base, and because of how open that area is. Well, how open it is while still giving, like, places for force field, basically.
Yeah, certainly once Protoss gets over here. If he gets close now,
yeah.
I was like, well, you're making a really good point for Zerg right now. Isn't that exactly what Zerg was? No, I know exactly what you mean though. If Protoss really gets up in the face of the Zerg play, if they really somehow get up close to that natural, you group yourself up over here, and then the reinforcements, it's kind of tricky for Zerg. They really need to take out these rocks, and it's hard to get spine crawlers over here and spine crawlers over here. So Morrow's just going to need a good early fight if Archer decides to play the same way as he did on Whirlwind. And I cannot imagine to think that, or not to think that Morrow's going to play different than he did on Whirlwind, since, I don't know, that I wouldn't say it makes no sense, because yes, Mutas are capable of dealing with that push, but that game it just didn't go Morrow's way.
No, everything was just a little bit too slow. We do have the Nexus first again from Arthur, and Morrow again with pretty fast expand. This time it wasn't hatch first.
Nope.
14 pool, 16 hatch at his third base. And he'll be putting out a third hatch in his natural as soon as he can afford to do so.
Gonna keep a close eye on those extractors. We see that first extractor, well, that was just an extractor trick. Because on Whirlwind, Morrow went for pretty quick gas, just 100 gas it was in that moment, just to get Zergling speed out. But he didn't really do a whole lot with them, because Archer was just sitting back, getting more sentries, getting more immortals, then going for the classic 2-base immortal sentry push. Let's see if Morrow's gonna try to deal with it the same way. He's not up to 3 bases yet. Well, it's only 4-minute mark, but hey, that scares me, man. Most Zerg have 3 bases by now, man. If I would be playing this game and I would scout this, I'd be like, oh my god, double cannon, double gate, double wall.
You can see that obviously Morrow will take the third base though, because he doesn't have any gases, Kev, and there's just not that many good all-ins with no gas.
Oh yes, there is. The Ukraine starts slowly all-in.
Oh, it's pretty good. You need double forge, double gate, double nexus wall.
And even then, it's hard. Okay. Wow, that sounds like the best build ever, man. Of course, we are referring to one of the games of the WCS Ukraine Nationals. We spoke about this game a few times already, so not worth to tell the entire story again. But if you want to check it out, it's Ukraine Star versus Rockskiss Freyr on Cloud Kingdom.
This little Zergling has the worst job in the world, Kevin. This little Zergling has been tasked with killing these destructible rocks, and I think it's going to take a while.
He does 2 damage per bite. I think his teeth are gonna fall out before he can nibble through.
Clunk, 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 clunk. Reminds me of like bunnies. You know bunnies like chew on stuff to keep their teeth from getting too long? That's what this Zergling's doing. It's the bunny Zergling.
He's gonna have the sharpest teeth of all time.
He kinda has bunny ears, man.
He's gonna evolve into an Ultralisk by the time he's done with these rocks.
If you zoom in, he's got these 2 little ears popping up.
This is like Dragon Ball Z training, Ben. He gets bigger and bigger. He's kind of
hyperbolic chamber.
Yeah, if only there was like 10 times gravity, man. This Zergling is an Ultralisk by tomorrow. Promise you that.
That tree just fell down.
So we see in the main base of Archer, the Robo is going down, 1 gate Robo so far. Hard to really put it together, but I cannot help to feel that he's going to play very similar to what he did on World 1, since this is Ohana after all. And if you love that strategy, like I'm a Protoss player and I know it's a damn good build, I'm personally just not a big fan of the Immortal Sentry all-in, because I feel that it's a build that every Zerg plays against pretty much every second game. So I feel that you have to be really exceptional at it to make it work. Despite it sort of being an easy build and you could say anyone can do it, it's still a strategy that good Zergs face oh so often, so they get better in defending it against it as well. But Arthur seemed comfortable with it, he seemed good with it, and if you lose the second game by playing something completely different, I cannot help to feel that you're gonna fall back to the way you were successful in game 1.
Morrow being a little bit more active about scouting this time. Still, oh, there's a great Overlord scout, spots the Robo up at the top of that ramp. And yeah, Kev, just to your point, the Immortal all-ins, in my opinion, have kind of become pretty akin to the 1-1-1. Yeah, the 1-1-1 was super popular for a long time, super devastating. And then it reached a point where, after some patches, after players got really good with dealing with it, only the best in the world used it. Only Puma did the 1-1-1.
It's crazy, by the way, Ben. Both Overlords from Morrow survived. That's so frustrating, as both of them went incredibly low on HP.
Yeah, man.
Those are the kind of things that really give you some momentum in the game. I know it seems silly, because that is sort of an Overlord that people sacrifice anyway, but if even those things survive, you're just like, yeah, this is my game. Look, and this Stalker really wants to get his Overlord. He's probably going to get it, unless he's going to fly north.
Oh, he's going to turn right.
Oh, he's going north.
Oh, it's going so close.
He's going to find it.
I hate you, Overlord.
Okay, eventually it will fall.
And
but
all that
still.
momentum is now gone.
No, it's still there, because he know that Stalker had to work OT, and
What
nobody's
if
ever
you were
happy.
like swimming on the beach down there, like where you see where the Overlord died?
Yes.
Look at that little spot of blood. You're just like sitting there, and then Overlord blood falls in your lap. It's pretty gross, man.
I would think it's, I don't know. You know,
A
really,
lot more gates going down, Kev.
when I
It is
saw
gonna
that
be an all-in.
when I saw that beach ban, all I could think was jellyfish. They scare me.
Jellyfish?
Jellyfish, they're really scary.
Overlords kind of look like big flying jellyfish.
Well, Ben, a lot of gates, as you said. 8 gates, once more for Archer, our Korean Protoss player. War Prism is on the way, 3 Immortals and a bunch of Sentries. We've seen this scenario so many times already. Morrow knows it's coming. Morrow's getting Spine Crawlers over here. A lot of Roaches are in production.
Kill the probe!
Careful,
No,
Slowlings. Careful,
die.
Slowlings.
And Slowlings do have to disengage. Speed is about to finish up. Morrow's going to have to defend this with Speedling Roach. It's going to be hard, though, because he's already given up so much position to Arthur.
Oh, the Queen Relics are going to help out quite a bit. But there are so many Sentries with a lot of energy.
Also, the Spines aren't burrowed right now, which is a little bit tragic. Ling's trying to find a flank. Now the Spine's going to make their way up
that's
into
nice.
the
That's 3 force fields already. He doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Just 17 to go, Morrow.
And, there goes 3 more of them, so only 14 remain, Kev. That's good subtraction. Spine's still trying to find a good place to burrow, but, you know, Arthur's just getting a lot of free units here. Morrow's lost quite a bit, and he's never actually taken a fight. There's another nice force field, and Arthur's getting a really scary position right here in the 3rd base. Morrow's coming down with roaches, lings, queens, and drones.
If he takes out the prism with all those queens, I think that's going to help out quite a bit. Then eventually he might be able to hold.
A lot of units came through those force fields, but I think they still might be good enough. The War Prism is not being focused right now. Queens are fighting against gateway units. Immortal's doing heavy amounts of damage. Reinforcements still streaming in. 10 more roaches in production, 10 more lings in production, but I'm not thinking that it's going to be okay, Kev. I think Morrow's in some big trouble.
He's in a lot of trouble. It's pretty much all of the roaches have died. The queens are forced to run away once more as well. A lot of drones went down already, only 36 drones remaining, so even if Archer would back off right now, which he of course will never do, he would still be in great shape. And man, Archer makes this push look easy. Yeah,
it does it very, very well. It's exceptional execution. Morrow GG's and has to be feeling a little bit frustrated.
Yeah.
Goes down 1-2 in the series, losing to the same push 2 times.
Even when he knew it was coming.
Yeah, and you know, I think this just begs the question of what other ways exist for dealing with this kind of a push. Roaches can work. I mean, we've seen players like Stefano make roaches work in this situation, Nerchio making roaches work in that situation, but the key to making roaches work is having them out on the map, engaging that army before it crosses the map, and getting good surrounds, forcing good fights and good trades.
Exactly.
Early on.
Not make sure that it's not 2 or 3 force fields that Protoss needs to cover his army. Make sure that he needs to get a whole circle, 6, 7 force fields, and then okay, you can lose 4 or 5 roaches. You can back off again if he does it once more. Then there is just no more energy for force fields. And I still think, Ben, with 4 queens, if he would have focused that War Prism immediately,
I think it could have been a different outcome.
Yeah, yes, he was going to lose a lot.
But
nevertheless,
you can still pull drones. You can fight with larvae, and even if you lose a lot of drones, but you clean up that army, that's still, it can be okay as long as you're not just completely crippled.
If you still got 4 hatches.
Exactly, 4 hatches. And if you only have a 2-base economy after that, well, Protoss only has a 2-base economy, and you still have those hatcheries there. So
and you know, one more reason why I think it was excellent to would have been better to focus on the War Prism is because it was such a Sentry, Stalker, Immortal heavy army. The moment that War Prism dies means no more Zealots, means that he can actually reinforce with Lynx.
That's right.
Which would have been so much better.
That's a really, really good point. Let's pass it over to Andre and Dan and hear their thoughts on the game.
Let's go ahead and reiterate everything they just said. I mean, the fact of the matter is when you are in those positions and you're dealing against an 8K 3 Immortal plus War Prism, you need to go ahead and confront the army outside of your base. the majority of force fields you want to actually be to prevent them from, or excuse me, to prevent your units from actually getting a full surround. You back up from there, and then they don't have as many force fields to actually work on creep or something of more value.
Creep is a very undervalued asset in defending that push. That's why a lot of people are saying get those creep tumors out early. That's why some people like taking that third out first instead of the natural and say, I'm just going to use my first queen energy, put a creep tumor down, and extend it. That way I have more room to work with. My roaches can dodge force fields. My zerglings can avoid the army and be able to bait certain things out. So those are the small things that really make you successful. But still, it's so hard. And the reason why is because when you ask someone like Stefano, it's always so situational. It's like, well, in this case, I forced him to move left and I was able to get a good position. But it's one of those things where you just have to be able to be in the right place, right time, and just a little bit off. And I felt like Morrow still had a chance to hold it off, but it came down to the very few small positions.
Yeah, the other way you can confront it is with spine crawlers, but you know, we're looking at 10 minutes, 11 minutes into the game. It's not really reasonable to get spine crawlers out and in good position. So that's kind of ruled out in those particular pushes. I really feel like the main way you deal with that push is to confront it earlier.
Thanks a lot, guys, for that little recap. And thanks a lot to GameMinder, the smartphone app that allows you to set reminders for video game releases and North American Star League broadcasts.
Ben, I'm smiling already, because you know what's up next.
What is up next, Kev?
What is up next?
Is it Roddy's match to look forward to?
I love that name. It has a good tone to it. Yes, it is. Red versus Hawk is coming up after a small commercial break. So, guys, don't tell anywhere. It's a classic matchup. I look forward. I'm happy. Ben, happy?
Can't wait to see Roddy's match to look forward to.